Galaxy definitely has thrill. It's definitely fun. It has a good theme. Especially if you like Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan, but it still like has a really cool pre-show and like some cool effects. So I would definitely give it all the points for that. And the queue has some interesting stuff in it as well. So I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
So the Guardians ride gets a point for fun. It gets a point for thrill. The theme, like, it was pretty good, even though I also, just like Caitlin, am not huge, like, Guardians wasn't my favorite movie ever, but the theme was still pretty sweet. The wait time wasn't super bad. Like, we waited a little bit, but not that bad. So I would say it gets a solid 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Spaceship Earth is a classic. I love going inside of the golf ball, and I think it's so cool how they engineered it. It's educational, and that makes it fun for me. No real thrill, and the wait time moves pretty fast, but the queue is outside, so if you don't like that, then maybe it doesn't get a point for that. But I really like the visuals, and I think it's kept up really well, so I'm going to give it a point for that. So I'd give it a solid like 3.5 or a 4. I don't mind the wait time in the queue, but it might be an issue for some people, so that's why I'm erring on the side of like a 3.5. But I do think it's a must-do when you come to EPCOT, just because it's inside of the ball. Spoiler.
So that was super cute. The theme was overall really cute. I wouldn't say much of a thrill, but pretty fun and very educational. I do appreciate when there is a ride or an attraction like that does have an education piece to it. Didn't wait super long for that one either, so I would say that one probably gets like a 3.5.
Alright, so the Seas with Nemo and Friends. If I was here by myself, I would skip this ride. I don't think it's very fun. The only fun element of it is that there are real fish in the like ending sequences, but it's very slow moving. Sometimes the wait can be kind of long, and there's nothing really good to look at the queue, so it does not get a point for queue. No points for thrill. And like I said, the only fun thing is that it empties you out into the aquarium, so I'm gonna give it like a 0.5 point. I mean, I guess if you like Nemo, it's cute, but it's different than the movie, so I'll give it like a 0.5 point for that. So overall, I would give the Seas with Nemo and Friends like a 1.
That was cute. I would say that one, the theme, of course I love because it's Nemo. However, it is a little bit slow, so it's like kind of laid back. So I guess if you're into that, then that's cool. But otherwise, it's not really much of a thrill, not super fun, other than, like I said, the theme, Nemo, so that part of it was fun for me. Wait time, I would say that one overall probably gets like a 2 or 3 from me. That was awesome. Not a huge thrill, but like pretty laid back. I would say fun. It feels like you're actually there flying. Like it feels like you're actually in the places where it takes you to. So very cool. Wait time, but pretty much worth it if you do have a long wait time. I would say overall it would get like a 4 for me because there's not really much of a thrill, but it is fun overall.
Alright, for me, Soarin', definitely fun. There is a little bit of a thrill, like she said, but the queue, there's nothing really to look at. There's nothing really that goes with the theme. It has an okay theme. I'm going to give it like a 0.5 point for that. So I would give it a little bit of a thrill, so maybe like half. It is fun. There tends to kind of be a wait for it, but it is inside, connected to the land pavilion with the restaurant and everything. So there are some things to do if you like want to wait for a lightning lane or whatever. And yeah, visually it's very cool. So I would give it like a 2.5 to a 3. But it is fun and it's very relaxing, and like you do truly feel like you're in those places. So cool.
That one for what it is. I think that if you're looking for something a little bit laid back and you're, needing a rest from the motion sickness of any other rides, which I haven't been motion sick in any other rides here yet, but if you're looking for something a little bit smooth and laid back, it's good. It's a long ride. It is educational, which I can very much appreciate. Not a thrill, but overall I would say it gets a little point for fun. I mean, why not? So I would give that one, I guess overall maybe like a 3.
Living with the land. It has a nice visual aspect, a nice behind the scenes, kind of how they get the food. It is educational, so I'm going to give it a point for fun, point for visual. Nothing really to look at in the queue, so it doesn't get that point. Really no thrill, so it doesn't get that point. But it has a nice theme, so I can give it a 3.
It was cute, somewhat fun, not super thrilling, but a very interesting theme. So that kind of like took me by surprise. So slightly entertaining. I'll give it a point for those couple of things. I would say overall, therefore, probably like a 2 or 3 out of 5.
Like she said, it has some fun elements to it. It has a cute-ish theme. The queue has some fun references in it, but other than that, like it's kind of mid, so I'll give it like a half a point. I'll give it a point for its theme just because it's something different. But yeah, no real thrill. It's more funny than fun, but yeah, probably like a 2.
So that was okay. That was like educational, sentimental, not much of a thrill. No, I wouldn't say fun either, but quite like somewhat entertaining though. So I would give that one like maybe a 2 or 3 stars.
Okay, so American Adventure is a classic. We had a teacher in high school where it was his favorite attraction, so ever since high school I've had a little bit of sentimentality towards it. But like she said, it isn't very educational, and it's a lot of history. It's good for a nap, according to Sydney, and it is cool in there, and it's like a 20-ish minute show, so I mean, yeah, it is. And I've heard from several other people, not just Sydney, that it's good for a nap. But it is hard to stay awake in there after you've been out in the sun, and it's cool and it's refreshing and it's musical. So I do get it. I understand. Not a lot of thrill, not a lot of fun, but educational, so I'll give it a point for that. And like, I would probably say it has a good theme, so a 2. I would say for the wait time, didn't really have to wait. The theme and the aesthetic all get a point for me because love Frozen, so cute. Honestly, it wasn't super thrilling, but fun overall. I would give it a 4 out of 5, just minus the point for the thrill. But it gets my vote. It's such a cute little ride, and I love Frozen, so maybe I'm a little biased, but yeah, that's my rating for that one. All right, for me, Frozen Ever After, or yeah, I think that's what it's called, Frozen Ever After. It does get a point for a thrill. There's a hidden surprise in that ride that I just love, and I love water rides and boat rides, so it's a point. Fun. It's super cute. It was very, very well done. Great theme and aesthetic. It's visually pleasing. All of the characters are in the story. The queue, we had the lightning lane, so unfortunately we did not get to go through the standby. However, it is on my to-do list at some point because you get to see Oaken, and I think that would be hilarious. And I have yet to see Oaken's trading post, so I think that is definitely something on my list. I think this is a must-do. I think it's so fun, very well done. And yeah, so point for Q, even though I have not done it myself, I just know it exists. Fun, thrill, visually appealing, and the storyline is really cute. It picks up right where the movie left off, ties in elements from the movie, and some of the like holiday specials too. That was really cute. I liked the theme. I don't remember there being a super long wait time. I don't think that was an issue at all. Fun, I would say, gets the point. Thrill, maybe not quite so much. So I would say overall maybe 3 out of 5 for me. But it was very, it does get the point for fun too. So overall, a good experience, but maybe a 3 out of 5. All right, Test Track, presented by Chevrolet, gets a fun point. I will say, as somebody who's been going to Disney for a long time, the new version of Test Track is not as fun as the original. This ride used to have more of a thrill, so for me, I can't give it the thrill point just because I know what it used to be. So it does get the point for fun. The queue is pretty fun. You get to design your own car, and that's pretty funny and silly, and you get a lot of funny results from that. So I'm going to give it a point for that. There is a single rider line also, which gives it a point, so it definitely gets the point for Q. visual aesthetic, like kind of, but it does get a point for a good theme. The theme is that you're testing a new car and you're trying to do all these different things. So I'm gonna give it like a 3.5, because it kind of has a good visual. So it's a 3.5 for me.
Yarrows. That one theme gets a point for me. I would say overall aesthetic gets the point. Not a huge thrill. I would say fun. Wait time. I think we actually did wait a few minutes for that one, so maybe I would say 3 points for that one for me. But overall, loved it. Yeah, just minus those couple of things.
Three Caballeros, classic. This is a walk-on attraction. A lot of people do not know that it exists. You go actually into the Mexico Pavilion, down the ramp, and there's a boat ride in there. And it's cute. It gives a lot of It's a Small World vibe. So if you like It's a Small World, you're going to like the Grand Fiesta Tour. A lot of the same scenes in it, actually. So for me, it's fun just because it's nostalgic and it's kind of funny and silly, and we like to make jokes about it. I mean, it gets all my love, but so I'm gonna give it the point. No thrill. But visually, I'm gonna give it a point because the view when you first get on the ride and you're like going behind the restaurant and you're like at the foot of the temple is really pretty. And it has and then if you eat at the restaurant, you get a nice view of the ride itself. My ear is definitely falling apart. So I'm going to give it the point for the visual. However, a lot of the visuals are the same as It's a Small World. So keep that in mind. Fun, yes. Like I said, the queue, there's hardly ever a wait. Like you can walk on maybe 5 minutes tops. Hardly ever wait. You just walk on. So it gets a point for that. No thrill. But the story is kind of cute. So I'm going to give it a point for that. So I'm going to give this one a 4, believe it or not.
I say gets a point for theme. Gets a point for not. I don't remember there being much of a wait time. Thrill, honestly, there's like kind of a thrill, I would say, and overall fun gets a point for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. That's very intriguing. Like you actually get to like have control over something in that ride. So I would say that one gets a 5 out of 5 for me. I really enjoyed that.
All right. On the contrary, for me, Mission Space, there are 2 options for this ride. There's the green track and the orange track. I've done both. We rode the green track, so for purposes of this video, I'm gonna just review the green track. The green track is very low-key. Like she said, you do get some control, like different buttons light up, kind of similar to Rise of the Resistance. If you watched our Hollywood Studios video, each person on the ride can do different things, but you're in a very cramped space. So if you have claustrophobia, I do not recommend this one, but fun is okay. I mean, it's a cool idea. It's a cool experience. Kind of, you get the feeling of like lifting off and blasting off and all that. So there is a small thrill factor to it as well. The storyline is good. You're like an astronaut in training. And visually, not a lot to look at. You're like looking at a screen, and I mean, the screen like shows you different things, but I'm not going to give it the visual for that. And then the queue, there's hardly ever a wait. Hardly ever wait for no matter which track you go on, green or orange, you can pretty much walk on no matter what. The orange, I do not recommend the orange if you are motion sickness. If you get motion sickness, it is very intense, very strong G-forces. Every single one of us walked off the orange and felt sick. So I do not recommend the orange. If you are not prone to motion sickness, go for it, but it's very intense. But the green track gets a 3 out of 5 from me.
I would say that ride gets a point for the theme. Very cute. Obviously, love Ratatouille. Not much of a thrill. I mean, there were some unexpected things that happened on that ride. So I guess like half a point for the thrill, maybe. Overall fun gets a point. Wait time, I wouldn't say we waited in line necessarily, but it was definitely... we were rushing to get there from one side of the park to the other, but that's not the ride's fault, so I guess I'll still give it a point for wait time. So overall, I would say maybe like a 4 out of 5 or 3.5 out of 5. So, yeah.
You see the ears. My cat is named after the main character of this ride. Naturally, I was very excited to ride Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This ride is an exact replica of the one that is in Euro Disneyland or Disneyland Paris. So it is important to note that a lot of the ride is actually in French, and Remy speaks only French in the ride. So that is something that I was, not gonna lie, a little bit disappointed about. I wanted more Remy in the ride. I didn't get a lot of it, and I wanted more of it. So for me, the storyline, I mean, yes, it follows the movie. You are the size of a rat, and you're going through Remy's life in the kitchen. And this was actually my first time riding this ride, so this is a true, honest review. The story for me, I was a little bit disappointed. I'm gonna give it like a half a point. It follows the movie, but I wanted more Remy. There's a lot of gusto and a lot of Emile, but not a ton of Remy. So I'm gonna give it a half a point for that. It is fun. It is cute. The ride vehicles are trackless. It's the same technology in Rise of the Resistance. It's the same, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Same type of ride vehicle. And it's fun. Like, the vehicles themselves are so, so cute. So I'm gonna give it that. Visually, it's aesthetically pleasing, I would say. You are the size of a mouse. They made everything jumbo. So I'm gonna give it that. The wait times are pretty absurd right now. If you stand in the standby line, it still has a very long wait. You can do lightning lane. It's no longer virtual queue. And even with a lightning lane and having to run over to the other side of the park, I mean, we still waited probably 20 or 25 minutes in the lightning lane, which is, that's kind of long. So I can't give it the point for the queue. Not a ton to look at in the queue either. So overall, I give it like a 2.5, and I'm very disappointed. I wanted more. I wanted so much more out of this ride. I'm very disappointed, but would I ride it again? Yes. Would I take my children on it? Yes. Very cute, and I love the little cars.